4 days out from the Derby. Just some thoughts of how he's doing, how he's feeling.
He's doing great. I mean, he jogged a mile, galloped a mile this morning. A little more than a mile and an eighth maybe. That's typical routine for us to let him jog a turn, loosen up. Always walk 3 days after we run. And then tomorrow we'll probably gallop him a mile and 3/8, a little further, and same thing Friday and Saturday. And then I suspect we'll make a decision here over the weekend or even as late as Monday. But more than anything, I just want to make sure he's moving good and eating good and happy. And at this stage, I like what I said.
It's such a short turnaround, right? I mean, it's a real challenge for any horse.
It's not that big a deal.
Really?
No, it's not that big a deal. In this day and age, that we don't run on Lasix anymore, so Lasix was a real dehydration factor. I think it was real hard to win the Triple Crown with Lasix. I think that was one of the reasons why there was a drought in it. But without it, I think it's a good thing. And I mean, all over my career, I've run horses back quickly plenty of times. I mean, I ran Rattle and Roll back in 7 days off a win and another win last year. I mean, I'm not scared to do that.
Right.
But so we'll see. We'll let him tell us.
Some horses are better at that than others. Yes, no.
It just depends on their constitution, how well they're doing, how well they're eating, and as long as their immune systems are good and they're happy, then no problem.
Even if you haven't really made a decision just yet on the Preakness, are things at least going in the right direction for him?
Yeah, I mean, like we're not, and I think I've said it repeatedly. An old guy told me a long time ago, never make a decision until you absolutely positively have to. And I know that's frustrating for you all. You want me to decide now, but what if I change my mind? I mean, but it's not it's not unusual for any of us to. Like, I don't usually make a decision on any horse that I train until I open the condition book. I mean, like, we might have them marked on the board, but until we open the condition book and we have to enter that day, you really, like, you could just decide not to enter because you don't like something. If he's healthy, we're not scared to go. If we feel like that he needs more time, they'll give it to him. It's all gray. There is no black and white.
Is it safe to say you'd like to go, but he's got to be doing great?
Yeah, I mean, he's an easy peasy horse. I mean, who wouldn't want to go, especially if your horse is doing well? And I mean, and the mile and 3/16 is actually probably a better distance for him than a mile and a quarter because they almost got him in a mile and a quarter. So, let's see.
You look at the field maybe a little bit, move or whoever. How does he? I mean, obviously he's the Derby winner, but it's a whole new set of horses that have had more rest and all that. How does he fit in there?
Well, I don't think that's a big concern. Waiting until closer to the weekend, it gives me a chance to get a better idea who is going. But I don't fear any of them, even Muth. I mean, we're good shape. I mean, but like I said, right now, until we get him through the weekend and make sure he's 100%, I might give him a swift gallop Saturday and scope him just to make sure that there's nothing, nothing going on in his trachea or his lungs or anything like that. The one time that I ran him back quickly, he coughed up a lung infection in the race, and that was last fall, and I don't want that to happen again. So, high level problem, first world problem.
What was the turn on that? The short turnaround then? How long was that?
Well, he broke his maiden by 6 last fall, and it was in the middle of the month, and then I came back in 2 weeks for the 2-year-old stakes day, the last of the meet here. Yeah. And I was already thinking I got to stretch him out, so I ran him a mile, and he ran about 5/8 of a mile and got beat. He ran bad 5th as the favorite, but he had a real legitimate excuse. He coughed up a big chunk of mucus, and it just didn't. But look, that was last year, and this is
Kenny, to follow up, you said you're not afraid of anybody. I've heard a couple of people say, "Oh, you don't want any part of Baffert," with Baffert being off 6 weeks, and I remind them. This is the guy that still has the record for the highest priced Belmont winner ever in Sarava, and sent a filly and won the Preakness with a filly that I don't think you're going to be scared off by anyone.
No, I mean, I don't worry about other people's horses. I mean, that's like, it's hard to train mine, much less everybody else's. So I'm not worried about other people's horses. I talked to Bob the other day. Had a great call with him, and he was just very, he was thrilled for me. And a lot of nice calls from a lot of great guys. I mean, Zito called me. I could go on and on. All the people that have called me.
How about Carl Nasker? You mentioned him 2 or 3 times in the interview.
Spoke to Carl. Yeah.
On Sunday, you mentioned Mystik Dan was kind of tired and didn't eat up completely. Have you seen a change in that in the day since?
Well, the problem Sunday is that he didn't get tucked in until really late, and it was so busy around here, so he didn't really have much time. Typically, he was fed at 4:30. He didn't run till 7, and then he didn't get fed till probably 9:30. So he lost that big window of time, and that's just absolutely normal. I mean, there isn't a horse on the planet that's not going to be a little bit because he between when we check feed, he probably only had 5 or 6 hours to eat that. I mean, so usually they'd have 12. So
The meaning of the
We're not
Preakness-
gonna-
I'm sorry. The meaning of the Preakness to you, the race to win it.
yeah, I mean it's a great race, and it's it's American Classic for a reason. We're not taking that lightly at all.
The Grizzly filly, easy decision to go to the Acorn filly, right?
Yeah, she did the same thing. She came out of the race with a little bit of a skin rash on her girth. It's got me concerned that those are horses get ringworm, and it's from the humidity and the weather and the rain and stuff like that. And every now and then you get a stable that has a little case of ringworm. She's got some spots on her girth. And so, but she jogged a mile. She did the exact same thing today. She was actually very, very aggressive, but that's her, So we'll watch her girth, but I think the Acorn's an easy decision for her. Really like to see her champion 3-year-old filly, and I don't have to take on colts at this stage.
Grade 1, shorter distance, and
Well, it's the same distance.
At Saratoga.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Still
which I
thinking-
really like.
Still thinking about the Belmont with her maybe too. Or?
Unlikely, just the Acorn's an ideal spot. I'd like to run her through the New York 3-year-old filly stakes this summer, and ultimately with the Alabama being the summer goal, and then at that point you got to decide to take on older fillies after that.
The Triple Crown.
The
for you?
Cotillion was a great race.
The Triple Crown for you. Just some thoughts about what it means to you. Obviously, it's the best of the best, and it's a short list of people who've won it.
The 3 races myself, yeah, it's pretty. I did it backwards, so. I did Belmont Preakness Derby.
It's pretty cool, regardless.
That is.
The career Triple Crown.
Yeah.
Do it in 1 year. I mean, that would be.
I'm not worried about that. You just got to worry about him a horse at a time, a race at a time.
Hmm.
No, I'm not worried about
He mentioned Mage before too, not doing it. And you've seen obviously some of the horses just not.
that. I didn't mention it. You all mentioned
I
it.
did.
But Mage
I
ran
meant
in the
the my
Preakness. Mage ran in the
Do you,
Preakness.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many different people out there that say there should be a change, there shouldn't be a change. What are your thoughts on maybe the quick turnaround?
Well, you want to make me commissioner? Here's what I would do.
Yeah.
Well, but okay. So the challenge of the Triple Crown is exactly why it's hard, and the 2 weeks back 3 weeks is why it's hard. So it's the reason why it's not done often. However, if I was commissioner, okay, I would make it first Saturday in May, first Saturday in June, first Saturday in July. Especially focusing on the 4th of July weekend, and make it literally an American holiday, the third leg. But you've got to align three large organizations to agree to that, but I think that you'd get continuity for the horses. You'd see more horses come from Derby into a month, 4 weeks later, whether it's 4 or 5, and then the next one too. I think you'd see more of them participate in all 3 races if they spaced them, first Saturday, and then let the world know that it's first Saturday, and then everybody kind of revolves their world around that. But since they haven't made me commissioner yet, so I'll go back into my little corner and shut up. Okay.
But for a lot of trainers-
PGA Tour did this, right?
Huh?
PGA Tour did this in terms of rearranging the majors to put
Did they?
PGA in May. Yeah, so it's April, May, June,
I
July.
have so much extra time to watch all those things. So
You know what I'm saying, though? I mean, they thought about it and said
Yeah.
spacing these things out
yeah.
for our PR reasons, for our people involved.
Yeah.
It all made a lot of sense.
Yeah, and especially in this day and age with the concern about the health of the horse and all that, I do think that they should seriously consider it. But you've had years where the Belmont was run at Aqueduct, and now you're having years where the Belmont's going to be run at Saratoga, and then the Preakness might be running at Laurel next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the big deal on shifting it a little bit? but you've got to get the big three to sit down. Well,
And-
we know the Derby isn't going to change.
Right.
Nothing's going to change there. So you got one domino knocked over, but it's the other two that you've got to get them to adjust. I think Maryland would be. I think they'd be wise to seriously consider it, but they got to sit down with Belmont. That's actually between Pimlico and Belmont. But I
And
do
two
think it'd be
different-
better for the sport.
Two
But aren't-
different TV networks too
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But aren't the
Is it-
trainers and
Yeah,
their
Fox is
connections
the big
telling
one.
us that anyway right now about where they're going?
Well, everybody's horse is different. I don't know. I can't train everybody else's horses. I don't know.
Well, no, but I'm saying, in other words, the Todd Pletchers and the Chad Browns coming out of the Derby, if they don't win, most likely they're not going to the Preakness.
Well, I think that especially in the day that we look at win percentages and everybody's worried about all the horses getting hurt, that to be more conservative is probably smart. I mean, I look back and I ran Tejano Run off a good second in the Derby, and I came back in the Preakness, and it wasn't a wise move. As a young trainer, I wished I could have a do-over with that horse. I would not have run him. I'd already kind of been scrambling to try to get him right for the race. He coughed up a lung infection in February. Then I got that sorted. He had foot issues. He had a little glute muscle, but we got him right and he ran well. And then when I came back in 2 weeks, he was off. He didn't run again for 7 months. But he was different though. This horse is actually much healthier than Tana Run, and much more forward than. No, sorry, you have to come back later.
I will.
What's it like living in this moment?
Yeah.
It's an honor. I mean, at this point, I've done a massive amount of helping you all. That's part of it, and I'm glad to.
Was there anything that surprised you about winning the Derby that you maybe wouldn't have anticipated or didn't expect?
I think I was ready to. Having won the Belmont, having won the Preakness, and
But
we'd entered that realm a little bit and been second, and I was fully prepared. I think the whole operation, the whole barn, the staff's done a great job.
But about the experience being on the stage and no. Do
Was
you
on
get
the stage at the Preakness, did that, but nobody
Yeah.
was there that year.
COVID?
Pandemic.
The hardest part about the Derby is the ticketing. It really is. The tickets are just more stressful than anything every year. It's making sure everybody's got their seats, and helping you all afterwards. It's been somewhat exhausting, but it's like I said. At this point, whether Brian or it's me or even the ownership, we're ambassadors. We need to do this. This is part of the deal.
Was there any point Saturday night, maybe at the museum or later on, where you just kind of said to yourself or your family, we just won the Oaks and the Derby first time around?
About 20 times.
Yeah.
Even still goosebumps.